from the regular meeting of November 20th. I have no comments, corrections.
You're accurate, and I will make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Okay.
John,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Okay, the scheduled reports, Frank Kinko, zoning inspector.
Okay, you should all have in front of you, activities for the month of October. We processed 5 applications. We have about 5 pending applications. What's missing that is the process. I will keep 5 for a month. That's all I have.
Okay, I think Frank, any questions for Frank? Emmerich Gordon, Township Highway Superintendent.
Okay, Auburn Township Road Department report for November 2017. We're all aware of the November 5th storm. Storms knocked out power down trees around the township. The road department worked from 6:30 p.m. Sunday until 1 a.m. Monday to clear and open roadways where live wires were not involved. We had a lot of situations around the town where the wires involving trees already, but we made some of those. Storm cleanup did continue until Wednesday afternoon, November 8th, and that's when all the roadways were cleared, including the ones with the wires involved. Additional brush clearing was done on Greatwood Lane and Quinn Road, along with some roadside mowing. Trees along the 2018 Taylor May Road resurfacing project were marked, as well as the trees in the Maple Shade Cemetery for removal, with quotes received and reviewed by the Board of Trustees. You guys did and awarded that as well. And we're waiting to hear back from Falls Tree Service on provide the documentation, insurance, and the bond and everything. We did have 2 snow events that required 45 tons of de-icing material and 2 rounds of plowing and/or salting. This does bring November's average road salt use to 77 tons. We currently have 725 tons of road salt on hand in our as of today. And this, the tonnage that we do have that is from the past year's contract, we still have yet to get into the new contract, so we're here from the 2,000 tons. Repairs were done on the old town hall's drainage system, which did correct the occasional backups. PJ, you were there when we opened that up. You did see we took out a furnico that was compromised, and we did do that. Signs were replaced or repaired due to vandalism. We did have a small mesh of vandalism. These were the new trail, Spiceberry Lane street signs, and 25-mile speed limit signs as well. One grave was topped at Shadyside Cemetery, and we did have 1 large headstone that we had to move back into position after we did a funeral that was taken care of. We did have some minor storm damage up at Shadyside as well. Nothing too big, we did clean that up. We did some erosion control on Meadow Lane, which required 20 tons of number 1 gravel. We used that to stabilize the ditch that's down Meadow Lane over by Stan Kaney's house. Yes, a 36-inch pipe, and you can see the ditch was etched out. That subdivision went in 77, and over the course of time, there was a nice groove down the center where we brought that back up to grade. All township building and road department equipment fire extinguishers were inspected and serviced and back in place, and we're good to go on those for another year. And that's what I have for you guys.
Thank you, Emmerich.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Emmerich Gordon? Okay, trustee reports, Mr. Ribble.
We're pretty happy. We closed out all of our contracted projects this year. They all came out really well. Also, I want to say, and I don't see him. Oh, here he is, right here. So we have Mr. Dixon here. We're closed out the renovations of the Adam Hall project. And Dixon, I'll give you the floor. Jim Dixon is our construction manager and handles the project.
This is the reconciliation, closeout documents on that, all the financial records and as-built are all in there. In addition to that, we got a refund from Hummel Construction for $4,100 on the job. We're under budget. That's how it came in one time and under budget. Same as the bill.
Thank you, Jim.
And one of the
So
biggest,
if you guys want to split that with me, I'm,
Don't get your heart up too much for that.
Yeah, I think
I'm
Fred's got cash.
I'm very happy, very pleased, I appreciate your business over the last couple of years, and I'm glad that the project that we did do came out as well as it did.
one of the biggest events I've ever seen up there was Saturday night. And yeah, the extra room in the hallways and things like that with what we now have.
Well, you got
Makes a
rid of the
big,
fire
big,
hazard too.
makes a big difference.
Yeah, very important. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you, Tom.
Everybody's also commenting on the lights. Big, big improvement.
I agree.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the cookies.
Feel free to take the rest of the night off. I know you always want to stay all night long, but I'm sure she's got something else she'd much rather do.
You think?
I can't imagine what
I'm gonna
they
ask her, because I do what she tells me. Stay out of trouble that way.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Take care,
much.
gentlemen. Merry Christmas.
Have a nice holiday.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
One other thing, I did solicit some proposals here from, as we discussed at the last meeting, correct the drainage here on this corner. Right now, all of the water is very conveniently running directly to the building on three sides, and we've got to get this corrected. So I got a hold of Joe Katowski to do the surveying, and he has done a lot of work for us, obviously, over the years, and done very good work for us. So he had said he would give us a not to exceed $5,000 to do all of the drawings and surveying required. So that's the first step in getting this water problem solved. So, I'd like to make a motion that we award a contract to Joe Katowski for doing the surveying not to exceed $5,000.
One second.
John,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And we're also going to have quite a different look here in our cemetery next door here, as soon as the trees that all blew over are going to be cleaned up, and we're going to end up with a very large clear space there that's going to need to be replanted. And I think it would be wise, now the trees that were there served us very well for quite a long time, but as we've looked into it, a deep-rooted deciduous tree would probably be more apropos, since you notice that everywhere pine trees blow. So I talked to JFD Landscaping, has done a lot of work for us here, and they offered to work with Joe and come up with a landscape program so we can plant new trees that will be gorgeous in 20 years as well as now. And he gave us a proposal of $650, and I'd like to make a motion to award a contract with
That's
JFD.
just for design.
This is design. And we're going to do a site evaluation, draw up a concept, and do a master plan for us. I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, we're gonna have to clean up that mess out there, so I'll second that.
John,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And then one other thing, road department wise, I do kind of manage the road department for those of you in the Procrastinators Club that are here visiting us tonight. And one of the things that we're kind of faced with, and we spent well over $100,000 in full depth repair contracts this year. And after myself and Mr. Gordon did a lot of negotiating, the number could have been $200,000. I think we need to investigate a faster and more efficient way to do full depth repairs than we've been doing in the past. And so we've done a lot of investigating, and one of the things we've come up with is we could go in and mill. As you see these guys grinding pavement all over the place anymore these days, but get a machine to go in and instead of saw cutting, taking a backhoe, digging it out, go in and mill out what we need, where we could go out and mill 2.5 inches and know that we got 2.5 inches and not 6 inches, and mill out 18 inches wide and not 2 feet wide, and so that's going to save in time, save in asphalt, and we think that from talking to the surrounding people, it would cut our full depth repair costs by as much as 75%. And so we're doing a lot of investigating on that right now. But the cost of the equipment would pay for itself in less than 12 months. So I think it'd be a wise investment. We're going to learn more about it here in the next couple of months, so that when spring comes, we can hit the ground running. And one other thing that we're discussing, Enric and I, and that is we've got an awful lot of roads coming up here that have full depth repair. One of them is Woodacre, for example. There's ditches need to be established, and we're thinking that we're going to alter our road program to include, to be a 24-month process for each road as opposed to a 12-month. And we'll go in and we'll do full depth repair and drainage in year 1, and then in year 2 we'll do surfaces. And what that's going to do is allow us to get earlier jump on this resurfacing, because the prep work will already have been done the year previous. If there is any additional prep work to do, it'll be minor compared to what we're doing now prior to the contractor coming in and doing the asphalt over surfaces. And so far, we're running numbers, and if we're going to try to do 8 miles of road in a year, which is what we have on tap for next year, that's what we need to do to keep up with that. And when you have 54 miles of roads, and if we can attack 8 of them, I think we're really going to be in good shape. But we have to, with only a 5-man crew, we need to be efficient.
How long do you think it'll be before you guys can get the specifics of the equipment nailed down?
I would hope by no later than the end of January. They're going to try to get, demos. And the big issue is that the attachment that does the actual grinding, it's not as simple as this is a John Deere, this is a Case, this is a... Here you're looking at equipment that isn't as well known by everybody. And but we do know that we need something that's very heavy duty, because we're going to do a lot of grinding.
So this is like a skid loader based piece of equipment that we could transport
Correct.
with attachments.
With attachments, with a pickup room as well. It's a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. We're thinking I could do 3 times as much in a day as we did with the backhoe. One of the other things as well is we already have Auburn Springs in full 2-year mode here. We already discussed that with the engineers, that let's start these in 2-year processes. One of the reasons is we do the full depth repair, especially in Auburn Springs, you want to watch how the reactor goes in there. And then we can, when the summer comes, right now, PJ, what we're spacing is a July-August paving reschedule. School now starts second week of August. One of the things is they're trying to get it done prior to, we know in reality, they'll be paving after. And we can also open up earlier in the year, in the May or June, typically get a lower bid price as well on those projects. And what this does for us, it establishes, over the course of the years, we believe in 4 or 5 years, with the roads that we were inundated with in the late 90s and 2000s, we should be, I don't want to say caught up, but somewhere where we're turning these roads over now. And I do believe what we are attacking right now, this is coupled with chip seal. A 7 to 8 mile a year program here is a pretty, to us, that's a lofty idea, but we're doing it. We're able to turn those roads over. And then also, we're continuing into October now, where the plains are still open, where we can continue with the mill and fill and get these filled in at the end of the year as well.
Just got to keep step up with the technology as well as labor savings. That's
Well, we paid over $100,000 in contracted, pulled up repair this year, the machinery that we paid for. And we did see the surfaces that were repaired is, it's within our capabilities, is what we do. And talking with the engineers as well, do the 2-year program, keep it in-house.
You'll see that right here.
right. A lot of people may be wondering what's going on Washington Street, that's of course a county road. But they're working towards a pretty good sized project next summer. They're already getting the drainage all squared away here. And it may or may not include the removal of the curb on the south side of the road, which would be a big change. Of course, if you remove the curb on the south side of the road has to shift north a little bit. It's already too far south in a lot of areas, and so it's a big project for them. We'll have a nice stretch of road when it's done. So that's what I get.
PJ?
You've heard us mention, for some of the folks that haven't seen this before, a lot of attention still being paid to clean up from the storm a month ago, I guess it was now approximately. We have split out all our costs and hours, and we've got outside contractors we've hired, obviously, we've kept that separate. And I've been working with the incoming president of the County Township Association, Bainbridge Township, that's where it ends up. And I think the reason she and I have talked so much because our townships took by far the biggest hit this far. So, as we're chasing what may or may not be available for any disaster funds through the state of Ohio, and are keeping our tallies here, between the two communities, we're well over $100,000 in storm damage from that. And that's just on township properties. That's not your property or anybody else that had a house get cracked or something on a roof or a tree or something. The key to state funding for this comes from uninsured properties and uninsured costs. So that's why apparently we're not going to reach this threshold, but this is how we're doing it. Rather than writing individual letters, we're going to do this to the County Township Association. I think it has a little more bite to it.
Statewide is what, $15 million?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm not
To
exactly
look at,
sure.
even though we had a disproportionate hit here, I think the total statewide total won't hit that threshold, so it's going to be very tough to get any form of funding.
And for the intensity that we had here, it was not widespread. It was kind of local.
Yeah, if this had been
and
statewide, you would hit the
isolated.
15 million, no problem.
So anyway, but we're still working on it. The costs are being tallied, and Lori's offered, and I think it's an appropriate way to do it, to organize this effort through the County Township Association. So more to come on that. I'm sure, Fred, you've gotten some stuff from her, I believe, on that too.
Yes.
So
We could see $50,000 in just this cemetery.
Yeah, when all is said and done.
And this is just our properties, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
these are crap. It would have been nice if the trees had fallen on buildings, but
Then they're insured.
and they're insured.
Insurance.
But if it's just a tree falls down, it's just a
And that's
tree.
pretty much with everybody's homeowner insurance, the same thing. Falls on your house, yeah, they take it away, they fix your house. Falls down the other way,
Yeah, you're out of
it's
luck.
all you.
If you came from the west or you didn't get a chance to go by here in the daylight, sometime in the next week or so, take a look over here at what actually happened. It's
All of the pine
shocking.
trees over here are gonna have to be cut down. The tops are broken. The ones that are, there's like 3 that survived, and we've been advised that
Yeah.
they're gonna come down. Now that they're exposed, they're really susceptible to come down. It is kind of interesting, the deepest root that you can see out there is less than 30 inches.
And
Although
unfortunately,
they're 12 feet in diameter.
which laps over into the road through the
Which it also-
cemetery. That all got pulled out.
Right,
too.
it ruined the
Yeah,
road that
it's-
goes up there, so.
Quite a hit.
All that done in 30 seconds.
That's all I have tonight, Mike.
Okay. Fred?
All right, gentlemen, I have in front of you your regular reports, your appropriation summary report, revenue summary report, fund summary report, and payment listing of warrants 4161 through 4196, totaling $36,521.71. Of note on those warrants is the illuminating company for $15,953 and Medical Mutual of Ohio for $15,368. Also have in front of you an appropriation status report showing the final appropriations for year 2017, at least as of date. These probably won't change much before the end of the year. I'm asking the trustees and the department heads to please take a look at this appropriation status report so that I can have at our next meeting temporary appropriations to present to the board. We'll need those going into the next fiscal year so that we can continue operating. So if you could just look at the final appropriation column on that appropriation status report and get back to me if you think we need to add any funds or reduce. I'll work with Emmerich and Chief Phillips and we'll work on their departments too. Since we did get the check from Hummel Construction for $4,145.36, that has to be taken into the general fund. Do we want to transfer that money into the land acquisition and improvement fund, since that's where most of the money came from?
That's where most of them came from, yes.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
John,
Yes.
BJ,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And then I've got some supplemental appropriations that I'm asking for. I'll go ahead and read these resolutions into the record. Resolution 2017-40 for supplemental appropriations. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following supplemental appropriations to the general fund. $8,841.85 to account 1,110,131 for administrator salary.
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 2017.
Hold on, vote.
Get excited, Fred.
Sorry. John,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Resolution 2017-41 for supplemental appropriations. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following supplemental appropriations to the general fund. $5,000 to account 1,130,190 zoning salary to pay the zoning inspector and zoning secretary throughout the end of the year.
So moved.
Second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Finally, Resolution 2017-42 for supplemental appropriations. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that the board finds it necessary to make the following supplemental appropriation to the Road and Bridge Fund. $15,000 to account 2031-330-221, medical hospitalization to pay the health insurance premium through January.
So moved.
And second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
That is all I have.
Okay. John, you take care of old business. One thing we have in our new business is we received franchise fees from Charter Communications for the period ending 9/30/17 for a total of $4,572.68. I'd make a motion to move that to the land acquisition and improvement fund.
Second.
John?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
I have one other thing here. Those of you who are new tonight, you'll notice we have a brand new popcorn machine to replace our, I don't know how many year old one, 50-year-old one that we had, and it popped out of its life, but
Even though we had it, we found that it worked. We found it up at the museum and we checked it out and it worked, and we've been using it now for the last 5 or 6 years.
this brand new machine is made possible though by the Chicago Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Read our story in the newspaper, and
I think they read somebody's story in the newspaper. So,
thanks, Joan. You got us some money. That's Joan Demersion from the Chagrin Valley Times. So
And
thanks
we
to that.
do use this quite a bit throughout the year. One of the events that we do use it is the Concert in the Park series that they sponsor. And the other thing, every once in a while, will be coming up here early in next year, which will be the annual presentation of the road department's road report. And this is about as popular of a thing that happens in Auburn, actually.
It's free, and it's here.
For those of you who do trade in commodities, it's akin to having the orange crop report come out, and it's very, very interesting and a highly recommended entertainment and educational.
Emerson is kind of like Woodstock.
It's a step below Woodstock. We have popcorn, but not that much music. So we'd like to thank them for that generous gesture to us.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Well, that takes public comment. Going once, going twice. Come on, now's your chance, guys. All right. On that note, we will be going into executive session for the purpose of zoning board and zoning commission interviews. So, we're all ready to go.